Hello, third grade, and welcome to our second day working in science. We are continuing to look at work and force. Now, a quick reminder that a push or a pull on an object is called force. Force is when you push or pull an object. Now, when that object moves with a push or pull, that is called work. That's called work. We use simple machines that help us make work easier, pushing and pulling things and making them move. Now, we went over a couple of different definitions on Tuesday, and we're going to look a little bit more into these. So a simple machine, we looked at three kinds. We looked at a lever, a wedge, and an inclined plane. We're going to look at three more today. And they do one or more things to make work easier. Sorry, one or no work. Working parts to make things easier. A compound machine uses two of these simple machines in one item. Okay, and we'll look at a couple of those today. Force, push and pull. Form is the shape or arrangement of an object. So the form of the object. Work, we just talked about that. That's force, moving an object. And then load, the object to be moved or lifted. So if you ever hear someone saying, I've got a heavy load to carry in from the grocery store, that's kind of like moving things, the item that you gotta move, okay? So let's go over the 6 kinds of simple machines. We have an inclined plane that helps us move things from lower spaces to higher spaces with less work. It's a little bit easier. We also looked at a wedge. We talked about how maybe a shovel would be a wedge. We also talked about how a wedge can help things from falling. We talked about a doorstop being a type of wedge, that kind of simple machine. And then finally, a lever. A lever, we learned that scissors are a type of lever. They have a piece called a fulcrum, and then they have a bar that helps maneuver things on opposite sides. By pushing one side, it moves the other side up, like a seesaw. The 3 we're gonna look at is wheel and axle, screw, and pulley. So here are some examples that you may use at your home. So a wheel and axle, moving the top of a water spout. You have the wheel that's moving at the top and then the axle that's straight down. A screw, something you would put in the wall or maybe at the bottom of your computer or maybe a video game in the back to keep the batteries in. That's a type of screw. A lever, like we said, has a fulcrum that it moves from, the area that doesn't move. And that might be like pinchers, or it looks like they have some, what are those called, like prongs. Inclined plane, just a slanted area. You might see some, I think like some Pepsi trucks that have an inclined plane that pull out from the back and they can sit down, then they can roll all of the Pepsi down with less work, meaning it's easier. And a lever, the back of a hammer to pry out a nail. So remember, simple machines only have one of these 6. We're going to skip past these for a second. And if it'll load, I'll show you. Okay, so a compound machine. A compound machine has one or more simple machines. So let's look at the fishing pole. It has 3 types of simple machines: a lever, a wheel and axle, and a pulley. Okay, we're going to look at the wheel and axle and pulley in a minute. But the lever, when you pull back, when you have a fish, there's a fulcrum where your hand is, and then it is bringing the fish out of the water with less work. If you have to had to carry out the fish, it would be much harder than using the lever that the fishing pole provides. Now the wheel and axle is what you use to reel it in, and then the pulley is the part that moves inside and reels in the string. That has 3 types of simple machines called a compound machine. Just like a compound words has 2 words joined together, a compound machine has multiple simple machines joined together. Same thing, a hammer. The head of the hammer is made into a wedge, so it can go in between wood. The lever is made so you can push it down and pull it right back up. Okay? So let's look at those 3 that we didn't get a chance to look at yesterday. First of all, the screw. You see these in a lot of things. So I have my water bottle right here that has different types, sorry, not different types, that has a screw inside of it. Did you know that water bottles have the simple machine of a screw? If you look on the inside, it slowly goes up till the top. That is because there's an inclined plane and actually a wedge. It's a wedge shape, so it kind of uses both of those aspects of those simple machines to keep things together. The goal of screws are to keep things together. So that means when I combine a screw top with a screw bottom and I put them together, and if I put them together correctly and hold it by the top, it keeps both pieces together. So that's the job of a screw. Now, some things that you may have seen. First of all, water bottle. You may see a corkscrew, jar lids, airplane propellers, drills that have the screw, or door locks. When you close the key, that's a type of screw. Second one we're going to look at is a pulley that's used to pull up heavier objects by using a wheel and a rope. You've probably seen this in a water, like a well, and they have a bucket, and then at the very top they might have a wheel and a string that would pull it up. That would be a pulley. You also see pulleys in flagpoles, clotheslines, or window blinds. If you look at mine, our window blinds use a and when I pull it on the side, that's a type of pulley. You probably have a similar pulley in your house too. The final simple machine we're going to look at today is called a wheel and axle. A wheel and axle is a circular frame that moves around a rod. The most often places you see these in cars, you see it in the steering wheel, you see it in the tires and the axles on the bottom of your cars, and it's used to help rotate things and decrease how much force you have to give. So some things you might see around your house that are also like this are your doorknob, a pencil sharpener, maybe a rolling pin, a windmill outside, or your bicycle. So now that we know about all 6 of these simple machines, I want you to brainstorm items that use simple machines and compound machines. Think about some items in your house, some things that you see outside, and where you would put them. Does it have a screw and a wheel and axle? If this is connected, that might be a type of wheel and axle, and a screw top. Look around your house and see if you have anything similar. try to write out as many as you can. You might be able to find more simple machines than compound machines. If you find something really interesting, I want you to take a picture and you can add it onto this page. Make sure that you add as much detail as you can. This is the only page you have to complete. Last week, on Tuesday, we had some friends confused on what pages they had to do. This is the only page you have to complete for today. Make sure you watch the whole video, and this is the only page you have to complete.